Good morning, friends. In the first video, we discussed about the historical, political, religious, and social characteristic of Restoration Age. Now we discuss about the literary characteristic of the age of Dryden or Restoration Age. So we know about that. The literary characteristic are important for a student of literature. The first one is the rise of neoclassicism. Rise of neoclassicism. Okay, we discuss about how that rise of neoclassicism. Here says that we know about that. That was the complete break. Restoration writer took the complete break from the writer of the past. We know find out that the writer of the past was a Puritan writer. Puritan is before it there was a Jacobean and Elizabethan. These are all we can say that age of Chaucer. These are the writer of the past. But here we can know that how the restoration writer belongs that there was no any kind of inspiration. Okay, we can say not any kind of the inspirator kind of the writing written by those are the writer of the senior writer of this Elizabethan age, or we can say Elizabeth writer of the Elizabethan age. And that's why to get the guidance and inspiration, they reach to the classical writer of the Latin and Greek, the classical writer of Latin and Greek in 2nd and 3rd century. And just as for the writing model, they follow the style, and you can say that they have get inspiration from the raw materials and styles and form of those are the classical writer. And once again there was a classical period. There was once again they created the neoclassical. There was this is called the rise of neoclassical. The writer of this restoration that they follow that. These are the we can say to keep that both the prose and poetry totally agreed upon the rules and principles of accordance with which they should return the expertise of the literary carnation laid down by the classical writer. Here both the prose and poetry, કવિતા ગદ્ય અને પદ બંને જે નિયમો ક્લાસિકલ લેખકો દ્વારા સ્થાપિત કરવામાં આવ્યા હતા એ નિયમો આધારિત રૂલ્સ એન્ડ પ્રિન્સિપલ આધારે લખાવા લાગ્યું હતું. And that's why it is called, and that is why, dear friend, it is called the classical as opposed to the Elizabethan romanticism. These writers are totally opposed to Elizabethan because we know England is called the nest of singing bird, and Elizabethan writer writing on these classicism, neoclassicism is opposed to the Elizabethan romanticism. Okay, second, imitation of ancient. These are the same one that you can say follow that. Here we can say that imitation of the ancient. These are the author of this period. They have to follow the Latin writer for the guidance and inspiration. Particularly, they do not follow. They think the modern poets could not better than model of the writing on the classic. Here they think about the modern poets of the we can say that John Milton, William Shakespeare, or the sonnets, or those other poets. They are not a proper model for the writing, for the guidance and inspiration. That's why they reach to the classical writer of the ancient, and they follow the neoclassical school of poetry. And that's why even the Dryden, this habit of the noticeable in the age of Dryden, because most of the writing we know about that. We discuss about the Macflacan. The Macflacan is written in mock heroic style, the style of the classical writer, heroic style, epic style, and written in the mock heroic epic. And that's why Pope has mentioned that we have to quote the Pope. Learn hence, for ancient rules a just esteem. To copy nature is to copy them. Alexander Pope શું કહેતો હતો? To learn, પ્રાચીનો પાસેથી શીખવું પ્રાચીન રાઇટર પાસે એશિયન પાસે શીખવું એ તો એક માનની બાબત છે. ટુ કોપી નેચર ઇઝ ટુ કોપી ધેટ. એમ એટલે કુદરતની નકલ કરવી એ એમની નકલ કરવા બરાબર છે. એન્ડ ધેટ્સ વાય ઇટ ઇઝ વોટ ઓફ ધ we can say that here we can follow the element of quote. To copy the ancient is copy the nature. એ પ્રકારની એન્શિયન્ટ રાઇટર તમે ગાઈડન્સ ઇવન જોન Dryden and other writers follow the style and formation of the, we can say, ancient. Third one, imitation of French. Okay, you remember that Charles II passes most of the year of the exile in France. That's why he was highly influenced. He was highly influenced to the French writer and French models. And whenever he came on the throne, he came with the, you can say his friend circle, writer with him, and to appreciate the king, because Dryden also favor of the, you can look in map like Dryden also favor of the Whig party of the monarchs, and that's why to appreciate the court, the writer of the time, they have to follow the French writer as their role model to write down the comedy, and the comedy of manner they selected not the classical, we can say the Ben Jonson, or here we can the Shakespeare or Ben Jonson or other comedy writer. They have to follow the French writer, and here we can say that, and that's why we know about that. Even then the Charles II has mostly, and due to to appreciate the king. And even that we have to find out that they are proved to write that. Those are the diaries during that Pepy, Samuel Pepy, Elvin. They have to, we can say that the Elizabethan or even the Shakespeare writer is dull in the level of the restoration writing. We quoted here a Pepy, a diarist, wrote in his diary, he was worried to see Shakespeare's Midsummer Night Dream, and that he would never go, he Midsummer Night Dream, and that he would never go again to hear Shakespeare, for it is the most insipid, ridiculous play that ever I saw in my life. Even Elvin Pepy, they are lover of the French model. Even Pepy say that whatever that Shakespeare most successful romantic comedy, Midsummer Night Dream, he said that most boring comedy, and that I never saw this kind of a Shakespearean play again. Who can Shakespeare now? Natako Joyce nahi. Even the Elvin too wrote. So I saw Hamlet played, but now the old play began to disgust this refined age, since His Majesty being so long abroad. Even the English say that Hamlet is the most disgusted old writer. બહુ કંટાળે નાટક છે, એમના નાટકો હવે આ રિફાઇન્ડ આ શુદ્ધ યુગમાં ચાલશે નહીં. And these are they do not follow the Elizabeth writer. Even the most successful work of Shakespeare accepted by the world. And here those are the critics of the Restoration age. They prove that they are the most bored one. ये बहुत सौથી કંટાળજનક સાબિત થાય. They follow the French writer Pascal, Bousset, Fenclon, Corneille, Racine, Morel, Boyle for their comedy. And even that they combine the element of the French comedy and classical comedy, and they wrote the comedy of manner or Restoration comedy. And Dryden also followed that. He wrote in play classical work Tyranny, Love, or All for Love. He followed the French models, and he followed the French model in his writing. That okay. The first one is the correct school. Here, dear friend, the word correct school, because here they do not inspire the Elizabethan writer, they inspire the ancient writer. Then they feel that, but they were. Do you know about that? Here you can say that Elizabethan writer also got the Shakespeare or Marlowe or they got the inspiration and guidance from the ancient. But These are ancient are the genius one. From they get the guidance. In the same way, here neoclassical or restoration writer got the inspiration from the French moderns and classical writer. But what happened there? They do not follow the proper way. Do not follow. Here, what happened there? They follow the only the rules of that and principle their age, and that's why Dr. Johnson applied the term from the restoration age or from the age. We have to apply from Dr. Johnson. Apply the term Augustus. Here he can say that Dr. Johnson what say that Dr. Johnson saying that Dryden did to the English literature what Augustine did to the Rome, which he found the brick and left to the of marble. The Augustus was the king of Rome. The Rome was underdeveloped, but after in the resign of the rule of the Augustine, it became જ્યારે એ આવ્યો હતો ગાદગરીમાં ત્યારે રોમ કેવો હતો બ્રિક ઈટ હતી એને ઈટની સામે ફેરવી દીધી માર્બલમાં. And the same way the contribution of John Dryden in the field of English literature as compared to the Roman Emperor Augustus. Dryden is the first representative of new ideas that were so dominant English literature till the end of 18th century. And Dryden was a representative, and that's why modern day representative. He provided a new innovative idea. This appealed to up to the end of 18th century. And last one, the realism and formalism. Here one suggests that before that he did not follow the classical writer, because the classical writer he did not follow the Elizabethan writer, because Elizabethan writer did not express the realism. They express the romanticism. That's why the writer of Restoration period they accepted realism. And here realism means we have to find out that the example of Restoration satire or Restoration comedy of manner. Restoration comedy express the mode and manner of sophisticated society, young men and women of 18th century, the mode and manner of the young women and men of sophisticated class of 18th century, 18મી સદીના જે યુવાન અને યુવતીઓની રીતભાત હતું ને એને એમાં રજૂ કરવામાં આવ્યું. Even that we have to find out the realism in the satire of the John Dryden. And we can say that further we can say that Dryden and most of then we come to the formalism. Formalism is that it comes from the form of work. Because the classic writer of the John Dryden is of Dryden, they are the lover of the classical writer. They strictly follow the rules and regulation, and we can say rules and principle laid down or established by the classical writer of the Greek and Latin of 2nd BC. Okay, dear friends, these are the rules and regulations, and the classical writer follow the lover of the form. Yes, in the same way, the writer of the Restoration age, they also strictly follow the formalism. They follow the form. And that's why we can say Dryden accepted this excellent rule for his prose and adopted the heroic couplet as the next best thing for the greater part of his poetry. Dryden himself was the prominent writer. Dryden also followed the rules of the prose, rule of prose in his prose writing, and even that he can apply the next week. He can follow the greater part of the rules in his poetry. Dryden, I quote, and this unpolished rugged verse I choose as fitted for discord and nearest prose. Whatever the Dryden say that, I unpolished ખરબચડું કહી શકાય એવા પદ કે ગદ્યને મેં પસંદ કર્યા હતા. અને એમને એક એવા પદ કે ગદ હતા જે મોટાભાગે કન્વર્સેશનમાં ફિટ થતા હોય, આપણે વાતચીત કરતા હોય એવી શૈલી પ્રકારના લખાણમાં મેં આ પદ અને ગદ્યની લખ્યા હતા. એન્ડ નિયરેસ્ટ પ્રૂફ ગદ્ય અને એ બે કેવી પ્રકારની કવિતા નું સર્જન કર્યું હતું, પદ્યનું સર્જન કર્યું જે ગદ્યની બહુ નજીક હોય, વાતચીતની ભાષામાં બંધ બેસતું હોય અને અનપોલિશ્ડ, જે પદ્યની બાબતમાં કહી શકાય જે પોલિશ ન કરે એવું સાહિત્ય મેં સર્જન કર્યું હતું. And in the end of that, in the conclusion, we can say about that, after discussing the five literary characteristics, rise of neoclassical, the imitation of ancient, imitation of French, the correct school, realism and formalism, we can say that it is largely due to that. Dryden, we can quote it and conclude that Dryden say that writer developed a formalism of style, that precise, almost mathematical elegance, miscalled the classicism, which ruled the English literature for the next century. What Dryden say about his age? Dryden say that જે લેખકે ફોર્માલિઝમ એટલે સ્વરૂપ પસંદ કર્યું હતું, એક શૈલી કેવી હતી? પ્રિસાઇઝ એટલે સંક્ષિપ્ત, લગભગ મેથેમેટિકલ કર્યું છે, ગણિત જેવી ગણતરીપૂર્વકની. મિસકોલ્ડ એને તમે કદાચ ભૂલથી તમે ક્લાસિસિઝમ કહી શકો કે જે ઇંગ્લિશ લિટરેચર પર આવતી સદીઓ સુધી નેક્સ્ટ સેન્ચુરી સુધી રાજ કરશે. ઓકે, વી કેન અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ દેટ restoration in the first video, the restoration historical, social, political point of view. In the second video, we can discuss the literary characteristic of restoration age. Thank you. Goodbye.